Welcome one and all to the Cinegeeks Podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Roy, still joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
Hello!
Hi Angela. And for today's episode, we will be talking about two fantastic movies being released here in the Philippines. Actually, they're already out now.
Yeah.
Both of them. Released by Viewers' Choice Philippines. First one being Civil War, written and directed by Alex Garland, starring Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spaney, and Nick Offerman. Also, Late Night with the Devil, written and directed by Colin and Cameron Cairns, starring David Dasmalchian, Laura Gordon, and Ingrid Torelli. Okay, of course, Viewers' Choice Philippines has brought to our shores many blockbuster hits over the years, like the John Wick franchise, as well as the Twilight franchise, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but before we continue, we'd like to remind everyone who hasn't done so to follow our pod wherever you listen to podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
Also, set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations.
Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and X, aka Twitter, so you can join in on the Cinegeeks conversation. Also, visit our website, www.cinegeekspod.com, for the latest in movie and TV news and reviews.
All right, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about our first movie for this episode, Civil War. Civil War is a journey across a dystopian future America following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach Washington, D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. Okay, so Civil War is the latest from boutique movie studio A24.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the more tuwang-tuwa tayo
Yes.
that VCP was able to bring such a much anticipated release
That's right.
here in the Philippines. So Ange, what did you think of Civil War?
Well, this is a gross oversimplification. Pero katulad nga nung sinabi ko right after we saw it, this is the most intense road trip ever.
Yes. One of the most intense movie road trips ever. Tama.
Diba? Well, I really don't know all details about what's happening in the US kasi I'm aware na this is like a statement, a political statement from the filmmakers about what's happening there politically. Pero just looking at it purely as a movie, I thought it was very scary. Not in a horror sense, pero yung nakakatakot siyang mangyari in real life. I'm happy that this is like a fictionalized version of America. Kasi kapag ka nangyari talaga to, mukhang talagang ganun kasama yung pangyayari or worse, di ba? Pero just following our main characters as journalists, parang my heart goes out to all journalists in the world, especially in war-stricken areas and countries. Kasi grabe rin yung trabaho nila to show the world what's happening in their country. Alam mo yon, they can't pick a side kasi they have to be impartial about the facts.
Yes.
Hindi sila pwedeng mag-make ng statement, magkaroon ng emotion about it. Kasi they're there to record history. And yun yung conflict. I once dreamed of being a journalist, specifically a war correspondent. I was inspired, katulad, siguro ikaw din, by photos of Jessica Soho na nandun sa war noon, di ba? Na sobrang talagang mainstream yun nung panahon na lumalaki tayo. And yun nga, as an investigative journalist, parang you have to really see dark things. And alam mo yon, how do you decompress from that? How does it not scar you for life?
Yes.
Especially kung country mo na yung story mo. And ang hirap maging impartial kasi you're part of it. How can you take yourself away from the story when this is also your identity? Parang ito rin yung home mo. It's happening in your backyard. Ganon.
True.
How about you? What did you think of it? Ako medyo traumatized pa rin ako hanggang ngayon eh.
Well, ako naman, siguro hindi naman sa parang obsessively following what's happening in the United States. Pero hindi naman natin din maikakaila na dominated ng Western media itong landscape natin dito sa Pilipinas. And so, I've taken siguro a bit of a personal interest in following what's happening to them. And makikita mo yung partial na truth doon sa sinasabi nila na again, we don't want to be political here in this podcast, just stating the facts na, some people are saying that if a certain individual returns to the White House, na something a lot like this would happen. And even though yung parang access point ko to, knowing what's happening over there is primarily through comedians, late night hosts like Stephen Colbert or John Oliver, mga ganon. Ramdam mo dun sa kanila yung barely kept or barely hidden na rage and fear of them parang not wanting to imagine what's gonna happen if this person comes back to power. And Civil War is one such picture of that, yung manifestation of that fear. Now, most of the marketing or the buzz around this has centered around that facet of the film. And rightfully so. Hence, the title Civil War. Pero, it's very, very refreshing to see na nung pinapanood natin siya, hindi siya yung nakatutok lang dun sa conflict mismo, but rather, it's used as a tapestry, a backdrop against the bigger story, which is the heroism of journalists everywhere.
True.
Na they sacrifice their lives, they sacrifice their sanity, they sacrifice even their morality to deliver the facts to the people. And there's a line in this film na sobrang tumatak sa akin. And I forgot it na already exactly, pero just paraphrasing, something to the effect of parang we do not comment on what we see. We just bring it out there and let the people feel about it for themselves. So parang as journalists, ang trabaho dapat is to not report things with color. Just report everything black and white and let the public consuming the facts as reported, sila yung makakaramdam.
Sila yung magsasalita. They will let their feelings be known about whatever the journalists have reported in black and white. And makikita mo dito yung toll that it takes on them, lalo na yung sa character ni Kirsten Dunst, yung si Lee Smith, a photojournalist, war photojournalist. Yan. And may sinabi ka kanina na parang kung ikaw ba, journalist ka, how does it affect you if you come from parang reporting something na impartial so close to home.
Yun, na bigla kang nailagay sa isang event na so close to home after reporting for so long from a place of impartiality. Parang medyo pinipaint pa nga yung impartiality na yun as a luxury for these individuals. Like may isang flashback dito na pinakitang nagre-report siya dun sa mga conflict in Africa na nagpipicture lang siya. And we've seen many photojournalists like that over the years, yung mga National Geographic, etc., ganun, na parang what if that horror that they report on na umaabot na to the point na may such banality na parang pinipicture na lang nila, wala na lang sa kanila. Paano kung biglang
napunta sa bahay nila,
sa bahay mo, in your own backyard, that you see that horror, and doon natin nasusundan yung road trip from hell. Itong Civil War na they see these unthinkable horrors na they only thought were parang at an arm's length.
And it's just a job for them.
Oo.
Until nangyayari na sa bahay nila and sa friends and family nila.
Yan, true.
Yan, that changes everything. As far as the technical stuff goes, this is the best A24 film. Best looking,
best sounding, most exciting A24 film since Talk to Me.
Yes.
I mean, parang nung pinapanood natin to, para sa akin, nakakain ng A24. Bigla silang gumawa ng exciting na scene. Di ba?
Lagi silang muted and
Laging esoteric, laging sobrang
indie. Sobrang indie.
Hanapin niyo yung meaning, ha? Puro ganun. Ito, talagang in your face. Boom. Literal.
It's exploding in your face talaga.
It literally explodes in your face. Yung sidebar, shout out lang sa SM Cinema for improving at least siguro one cinema that we know of, Cinema 2. Kasi
where all the premieres happen.
Yes. Kasi we saw this last April 3 during its special advance screening, and we were quite surprised na SM actually made upgrades dun sa kanilang sound system and as well as their projection system for Cinema 2.
Luminaw, no?
Oo. So, parang, ang inisip ko nga na pinapanood natin ito, shucks, wait, nasa Hong Kong ba tayo? Ano ba ito?
Parang Emperor, do?
Emperor ba? MCLK11 ba to? Parang kasi ang ganda, ang linaw nung screen, tas ang crisp nung sound.
Yes.
As in talagang pag merong sumabog, boom, talaga.
Feeling ko nga parang parang Dolby Atmos na yung sound, no?
Napaka parang Atmos na hindi Atmos.
Basta ang ganda talaga, and it brought justice to the sound design and the score of Civil War, kasi talagang grabe, yumayanig yung buong cinema. Tsaka talagang immersive siya. Feeling mo nandun ka sa loob.
That is true. And speaking of technical stuff about the film, immediately after, ang nasa isip ko was, kakatapos lang nung Oscars 2023 cycle. So it's not too early to start prognosticating about next year's Oscars. I think na magiging contender to for a bunch of technical awards.
Yes, I agree.
Specifically cinematography
and sound design.
Grabe yung cinematography nito. Done by Rob Hardy, who has brought us other amazing looking films like Mission Impossible Fallout.
Ooh.
And of course, frequent collaborator din siya ni Alex Garland.
Ex Machina.
So, Ex Machina, Annihilation, and Men, and sound design as well. Napaka pristine. Napakalinis nung tunog nung sound effect. Even yung especially in this film na it's dominated primarily by military hardware.
And the contrast din. There are stretches of silent moments.
Yes. Oo, true.
Tapos biglang mag-explode siya into deafening military sounds, explosions, bombs, machine guns, artillery, no? Grabe yung niya na hindi siya disorienting, hindi masakit sa ulo.
Hindi. Pero yumayanig yung dibdib mo habang nadidinig mo yung sound talaga.
It amplifies the intensity of where the story is.
Yes.
Talagang nadadala ng sound design yung emotion ng audiences.
And yung last 20 or so minutes ba itong film is one of the best ending stretches of a film for any movie this year so far, personally. I mean, if you are a fan, also being fan, may mas tama bang term? Sabihin ko sana, if you're a fan of war movies, if you appreciate war films, the last...
That sounds weird.
Yun na nga. If yung mga katulad mo, Saving Private Ryan, mga ganun, if you appreciate war films, the last 20-30 minutes or so of Civil War is one of the most exciting stretches of war ever depicted on film. Kaya kung hindi man lang technical na sure na makakakuha ng recognition to, siguro kahit din sa writing niya, and I mean, not looking into the future, pero wag naman sanang mag-turn out na reality nila to. Pero iba yung iba yung immediacy, iba yung takot na dinadala niya. Especially if, you live there. Would you agree?
Yun nga yung sinabi ko kanina na sobrang niyang horrifying sa mga taong, alam mo yon, at the tipping point of this very precarious peace.
Yes.
Na at any point, pwedeng bigla na lang mag-topple down and all hell breaks loose.
Will break loose, yeah. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything else we have left to say.
Yeah.
Talaga. Top-notch writing and directing. Technical stuff, second to none. Walang masabi. Grabe. And for Civil War, we are giving this an A+. One of the easiest A+s we've given.
Yes.
Talaga.
Hands down.
I mean, A24.
Did it again.
Pag A24 talaga na meron siyang may floor na at least A-.
Ang galing na. So far ha,
so far. Pero wala naman silang yun nga ang galing nilang pumili ng ng mga script na iba-back and produce. Kaya pag alam mong A24,
expect quality.
De calidad. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for Civil War. Let's now move on to the next film we're talking about for this episode, which is Late Night with the Devil. Okay. Just a real quick intro for this film. There was once upon a time na itong mga ganitong films, cult favorites, and releases that have gained buzz worldwide. We unfortunately weren't blessed before to get a local release. Dati. So, yung karamihan, through questionable means, kumukuha ng access.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially movies na ganung peg like A24 films, no?
Yes. Oo. Ay lalo, oh my God. Especially kung, isipin mo kung yung mga A24 films and, cult favorites like this came out 2010s, mga ganon,
yeah.
mid-2000s.
Walang mga wide release yan.
Wala
usually.
yan. Puro ang wide release niyan nasa sa Carriedo.
If you know, you know.
Yes, if you know, you know. Yes. Pero,
yeah.
In this new era of film distribution, we are blessed with local releases for these films. So, a quick thank you again to Viewers Choice Philippines kasi naidala nila itong mga releases na to dito. So, let's get to it. Ange, what did you think of Late Night with the Devil?
Okay. Late Night with the Devil. Actually, nakita ko na yung trailer nito dati and it really piqued my interest. Sobrang interesting nung premise niya. Unique. And like I said, kakaiba nung konsepto na late night siya tapos found footage. I've never heard of anything quite like it, especially in the horror genre. Parang hindi mo naman i-associate kaagad yung late night comedy with horror. So that was clever on their part. And I am excited to finally see David Dastmalchian be handed his flowers. Kasi ang tagal na niyang character actor. Alam mo kung saan ko siya pinaka-naaalala dun sa Dark Knight.
Yes, sasabihin ko yun. Dark Knight Rises. Yan.
Rises ba?
Rises, oo.
Kasi sobrang seconds lang siya doon. Hindi, Dark Knight.
Dark Knight ba?
Oo, isa siya doon sa
sorry.
mga
Oo, tama. Siya yung decoy
na
Joker.
Oo.
Sorry. My bad.
Tapos yung creepy niya na grin.
Oo.
Tumatak sa akin yun. Ang creepy
Yes.
talaga ng mukha niya kasi.
Oo.
Tapos after that, parang he's everywhere na.
Oo.
Di ba nga parang, alam ko na headline to nung Oscar season Kasi, isa siya sa mga frequent collaborators ni Christopher Nolan and Villeneuve.
Oo. Ginagamit siya. Yun na ngayon nakakatuwa kasi lately, he has been given roles na not just, to use him as parang, hey, I know that guy.
Or comic relief.
Yung sa Blade Runner 2049, he was there. Of course, in Oppenheimer, he was also there.
Si Borden.
Tapos sa
Dune.
Dune, yes. Siya yung parang unang...
Sa Harkonnen.
Yung unang mayordomo ni Baron Harkonnen Part 1. Oo. Diba? At saka, of course, we can't forget na he is also a collaborator or a good friend of James Gunn.
Oo.
Yun. So, he has been...
Polka Dot Man. Oh my God, yes.
Diba? Yung dun nga lang sa The Suicide Squad, not to be confused with that other Suicide Squad.
Okay.
So dun sa The Suicide Squad, dun siya unang nabigyan ng chance to really show everybody what he's got. And in my opinion, siya yung nag-steal nung movie na yun. I mean,
napaka-memorable ni Polka Dot Man.
Diba? Except for, of course, the giant starfish. Pero, yeah, I mean, we're happy for David na he is finally getting lead roles. Anything else na nagustuhan mo about this?
He was so awesome in this movie. Ang galing niya talaga dito. He carried it talaga. And I never realized how charismatic he can actually be. Kasi laging weirdo yung roles niya. It's so refreshing to see him as a straight man. Not the gender straight man, pero yung as a straight man character
in
na
the midst of insanity.
Hindi siya yung pinanggagalingan ng punchlines.
Yes.
Or hindi siya physical comedy. Or parang creepy, weirdo dude na parang, parang wild card dun sa cast. He is the actual lead. And he actually has leading man charisma.
True.
Ang galing niya, napaka-believable niya as a late night host.
And not just any late night host. Ang pagkaka-portray sa kanya dito is he is going toe-to-toe with the legendary Johnny Carson.
I can actually see that.
Diba?
I mean, parang talagang he put a lot of work in his research. Yung gestures nung 70s talk show, yung the way they speak, yung kanilang cadence and the intonation iba noong 70s. And kuhang-kuha niya kasi you can see yung may konting anachronistic elements yung movie. Pero in terms of his hosting, talagang kuha niya yung old school style of hosting. Hindi yung katulad ng mga Kimmel or Seth Meyers ngayon eh.
Yes.
Ibang-iba.
Iba. Mas more parang
Carson.
Yan. Yung parang hindi man sa old friend. Siguro ang closest that I can think of that emulates the old style is si Colbert. Yung ganon. Na mas more genial. Wala masyadong nung edge na parang hinahanap ng audiences ngayon pag late night. Pag sabi late night, diba, they just make fun of everything. Nung 70s, 80s, pag late night, ang connotation nun is parang, this is what you watch when you're about to turn in. You're about to go to sleep. So parang ang gusto mong panoorin ay yung medyo comforting, yung medyo parang tropa ba yung dating nung pinapanood mo. And ganun yung ganun yung ginagawa ni Johnny Carson. Kuha ni David Dasmalchian yung ganung quality. Tama ka.
Ang galing niya talaga. I mean, wow. David Dasmalchian here was a revelation.
Yep. That's
How about you? Ikaw naman.
Ako, I loved na this was a horror film that didn't have to rely on cheap jump scares. Yes. So, much documented naman ang aking disdain para sa jump scare. Pero not for horror movies. It's one of the genre na talagang I am very, what do you call this? Very intrigued by. Kasi sobra niyang flexible na canvas yung horror genre. And it doesn't have to be straightforward na horror. You can mix it with any other subgenre to make it very, very interesting. Katulad dito, sinabi mo na, it's found footage. Of course, so, dyan, horror na agad yan. Pero to use the backdrop of a late night talk show, na found footage, tas horror film, di ba, parang sobrang, dito ka lang sa horror movies makakakita ng ganun eh.
Parang Mad Libs
Oo, parang ganun. Pero gumagaan na siya. Hindi siya yung parang, example, adventure film. Tapos, tatry mong lagyan ng ibang genre. Medyo hit or miss siya eh.
True.
Yan. Pero ito, as long as one, maganda yung writing, and two, we've talked about this in the past with other films na the logic of the world of the movie is airtight. Or at least somewhat close to it.
Everything you need to know is in the movie.
It will work.
Yes.
And of course, mas ma-elevate siya kung maganda yung acting.
Agreed.
And itong Late Night with the Devil is the perfect parang confluence of a great concept, a great writing, and great acting. Talaga.
Yung trifecta nun.
Oo. Nabingo niya yung tatlong yun. And the writing and the directing by Cameron and Colin Cairns. Shucks, naalala ko na naman yung paano mag-pronounce ng mga Australian na pangalan.
Cairns.
Nare-remind ako nito nung parang siyang Talk to Me.
Di ba Australian production din yun?
Di ba? Ang kung Australian sila. Kasi alam kong Cairns City siya in Australia. So let's see if Australian nga sila. Just like the awesome duo of Danny and Michael Philippou. Okay?
The YouTubers yan, di ba?
YouTubers, Cameron and Colin Cairns were able to create a very airtight, claustrophobic at times, atmospheric, and intriguing script all at once. And without having to rely on shocking or jolting the audience that much. Meron pa rin, syempre. Pero hindi siya umasa dun sa parang, hindi niya ginagano na paulit-ulit.
Okay, pero ang stark difference lang nito tsaka sa Talk to Me was it's like a bottle episode na isa lang yung setting niya. Hindi siya umaalis dun sa studio.
And yun, dahil dun sa nature niya of being like a bottle episode in a TV show, wala siya nung luxury to let the audience like breathe or parang maalis muna yung isip nila dun sa tension na nangyayari. Kasi yun na nga laging umiikot dun sa studio yung proceedings, yung horror, yung mga kono ng mga weird na nangyayari. We don't want to get into spoilers, pero nakakatuwa yung escalation nung weird things that happen in the film. Like,
tsaka yung nature nung intro niya, sinabi na lahat ng kailangang malaman before we start ever meeting the talk show and yung una nating ma-experience yung talk show. Kumbaga meron siyang proper intro on ano ba yung mga circumstances, why they're doing this. So, meron kasing parang thing na tinatry si David Dastmalchian's character, Jack Delroy, para dun sa show niya. Kaya merong parang theme yung episode na to, which makes it a special episode. Parang hindi ito yung normally tema ng kanyang show talaga.
And appreciated yung intro niya. Kasi if siguro will say na if the movie just started right away doon sa show agad or parang text lang yung pagkakabigay ng background nung kung bakit ito yung quote-unquote special episode nung talk show niya yung pinapanood natin, hindi siya magiging kasing satisfying yung ending niya. Or rather, magiging parang full of question marks. It leave you with more things to talk about afterwards. Pero ang ganda na nai-set up na niya yung background ba kung bakit ganito yung nangyayari dun sa scene.
Tsaka ito talaga yung proper way ng paggamit ng exposition.
Mm-hmm.
Yun yung intro na yun na pati yung background ni Delroy, yung kanyang backstory was already told there. Kumbaga, kilala mo na sila and alam mo na yung motivations nila kung bakit nila to ginagawa. Parang ganon.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't think of anything else to add to that. Any final thoughts for Late Night with the Devil?
I think the best thing or the best way to watch it is to not know anything beforehand.
Yes.
Mas maganda kung hindi mo na kayo magbabasa ng mga articles or ng mga reviews ng movie. Although sobrang daming positive reviews nito sa internet. I think ngayon, at the time of recording, nasa 97% na yung Rotten Tomatoes niya. Pero nanggaling siya sa 100% for a few weeks.
Yes.
So, ayun, just go into the theaters without knowing anything and you'll have the best surprises. Yon, para hindi ma-preempt yung mga twists niya. Mas magandang ganon.
And yes, to confirm, the film is still at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, talagang everyone is talking about this film. Everyone is raving about this film. We implore you to watch this absolutely magnificent gem of a film. May ganun lagi si Viewers Choice Philippines they bring in these siguro movies that are destined for cult favorite status. Like the first John Wick, almost 10 years ago. Wala siya masyadong fanfare na dumating dito. And yet, grabe yung indelible mark na iniwan niya in cinema history. And I am also hoping na this one, Late Night with the Devil, will not just siguro reignite interest for many more horror films just like this in terms of yung gagawa or yung naghahanap yung audiences around the world want to watch this, pero also hopefully na mabigyan nga din ng more leading roles itong si David Dastmalchian kasi like what you said earlier, ibang klase yung charisma niya as a leading man. He has paid his dues for so long as the supporting character na tipong parang napapa DiCaprio meme ka lagi. Pag nakita mo siya sa screen, siya yun na. Yeah, I know him, parang ganun. Okay, so All right, so for Late Night with the Devil, we are also going to be giving this film an A+.
Yes.
All right, so two absolutely fantastic can't miss films coming out this week from VCP.
Two more movies to add to our A+ list of 2024.
Grabe, dumadami na siya. Quite a very interesting first few months for film, both local and foreign. So, all right, that's it for Late Night with the Devil.
If you've seen any or both of the movies, please share with us what you thought about it. Comment it on our social media accounts or down below on our Spotify episode page.
Don't forget to set your players to automatically download our new episodes so you don't miss out on our fun Cinegeek conversations. And while you're at it, please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you had fun or if you learned something new during this episode.
For my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks Podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.